Yes, and welcome to Spurs Unleashed. How are we all doing? Hope you all guys are doing well. We've got a stellar panel as always. Firstly, Stel, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, good, Perchy. Busy week, just wrapping it all up at work, and then let silly season begin. That could mean Spurs, by the way, as well. Silly season, so not just Christmas. But yeah, good. How you doing? How's Will? How's everyone watching tonight?
How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, all good. I'm actually really excited for tomorrow's game. Really excited for tomorrow's game. So we're gonna delve into Has as well. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, all good, to be honest. Like everyone else, just we're kicking off the show tomorrow, Friday night. We don't usually play on a Friday, but looking forward to it. And good to be on the show again, man. Back on again with Will. We was on the show last night. Back together.
Back again.
No, definitely. Look, guys, big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash the likes here, guys. Let's firstly, before we talk about Nottingham Forest and all that, let's sort of go in chronological order. Let's firstly talk about, we probably all talked to it to death, but let's go on it again. The Newcastle game. Look, I'll start with you, Stel, with this. And look, I thought we were outstanding against Newcastle. I thought, I said it and I'll categorically will keep saying it again. I thought we could have won 10-1 if we were clinical. And we weren't. But we won 4-1. I thought Richarlison should have had about 5 goals. Brennan Johnson should have had a brace. He hit the post twice. Look, let me know what your thoughts on the game were, mate.
It's been like most games. We dominate possession. We dominate number of passes. We dominate chances. We dominate shots on goal. We dominate all the attacking stats. It's whether or not we're going to actually put the ball in the back of the net. So I love the way Perch asks me a question and he disappears. What a disgrace. No,
you're doing great, Stel. Go on, carry on. You're doing great.
Should we just change? I was about to change the show.
I know, listen, I do apologize, mate. It was literally as soon as I hit live and go live, someone at the door started ringing and an Amazon delivery. I was like, you couldn't write it, so I had to try and manipulate the door wide open while starting the stream. No, listen, do apologize for that. Listen, I thought we were brilliant against Newcastle. You might have to go over a bit what you said again because I did miss it. But
I didn't finish what I was saying. I was just calling you out.
Carry on.
Taking shots at you.
Listen,
I'm only mucking around. Yeah, no, we dominated. I think Spurs have dominated every game this season, except for maybe Wolves. We've dominated at least one half of the game this season. Yeah. Our issue is whether or not we can take our chances and whether or not we make silly mistakes at the back. We didn't make any silly mistakes at the back, and we took our chances, and we deserved the win. But I thought we deserved to beat West Ham, and I thought we deserved to beat Aston Villa as well. So, look, Ange is doing an unbelievable job. I think any other manager with the crop of players we've got available, I don't think we're getting these results. Fans are positive, the atmosphere, everyone's behind the team, win, lose or draw. The players are playing for him. It's all going in the right direction, and Newcastle was just a reflection of that. In fact, I think what Gary Neville said for me probably sums it up best. I've actually got the quote here somewhere on my phone. Here it is. He said, "If you told me Ange Postecoglou would get a team playing like this, I would have said no chance. I love doing their games. I know it's going to be a good game, and that's what we all want. When I get the roster, I always look for whether or not I get to do a Spurs game." And I think that's pretty much how Spurs fans feel right now, and we just pray to God he gets backed and this continues. And the fact we're only 6 points behind Arsenal, by the way, I want to make a point of this. The fact we're only 6 points behind Arsenal, who are title contenders, Champions League contenders, finished 24 points ahead of us this season. Other than Partey, they don't really have serious injuries. Maybe Timber, but they've got backup for all those positions. Declan Rice, Gabriel. They've got good backup. I think it's just a lesson to every club out there and all the fans that took shots at us and took shots at Ange. Chelsea, where are you? Man United, where are you? Newcastle, where are you? Because we've had just the same issues as you lot. Respect. Honestly, I've got a lot of respect for what Ange is doing. A lot. So, deserved. 4-1, fully deserved.
No, I agree, Stel. And look, Will, I'll move on to you for a second. I think we saw. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. I thought there was a lot more adaptation from Ange Postecoglou against Newcastle. The one thing I saw which was glaring, I'd like to get your thoughts on it definitely, was one thing I saw the most was we got balls in the box. I felt like we didn't do that against West Ham. We played some lovely football, but I felt we didn't put those whipped crosses into the box. And let's be fair, and I listen, you may agree or disagree to it. I think if we had a better striker down the middle, they'd probably get 4 or 5, because I thought Richarlison had so many chances, may have made the run a bit too late or mistimed a header or so, and he got a couple of goals, but I thought he could have got a lot more. And that has to be tactical from the manager, that he's gone and said, look, let's just get balls into the box and we'll be devastating out wide. And I thought it worked brilliantly, putting Son on the left and Johnson on the right. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying really for the last 2 or 3 weeks, right, since the Wolves game, is that the quality, right, getting the quality of assists or chance creations into the middle just haven't been there. And that's why we weren't getting results, right? The performance from the way that we're playing football and the performances or the systems, it's been working just fine. It's just simply the quality that we've had out wide. And then moving Son out to the left fixed that quality issue. I mean, that's really the short end of the crux of it, if you will. But before I go into more details, I'd have to say that I'm absolutely offended. Phil P. putting a D at the end of my name. How dare you? I come from, royal stock. Put a T at the end of that. Don't insult me with a D. Don't put a D at the end of my name. But I'm just taking the piss. But no, yeah, I mean, we've got we really have been playing really good football, bar the Wolves game. That was the only game in which we created hardly anything in the whole game. And again, that one came to me. It wasn't like in the Wolves game we weren't getting the ball into their half or that the football wasn't there. It was just simply that those passes from wide into the middle, again, being able to find Son as a striker, and that just you didn't have that problem when Son was playing out wide, because he was able to create those chances. Again, for me, the game I thought was almost a carbon copy of the performances against West Ham and Aston Villa, because we dominated the first half completely, then we kind of maybe let them get back into the game a little bit in the second half, and then at the beginning of the second half, and then but the only difference really was that we were able to finish some of those chances. But we had far more big chances created in this game, but that again was from the quality, right? The quality out wide. And that's why I've been saying we need a winger. For me, the number one priority in the January window is a winger or a striker. One of those two positions is a must this window.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, we'll go on to transfers a little bit later because I do really want to talk about it. But look, Haz, I'll come to you again. Just get your thoughts on the game. I think the guys have made some really good points and valid points and stuff. I thought we were brilliant against Newcastle. But I'll ask you this one. I'll change the question on it slightly. Was this Tottenham at their absolute best, or was this Newcastle at one of their worst?
Look, I think you got to give Spurs credit because we were coming off the back of a few defeats, injuries, this, that, and the other, and I think it was a matter of time, before we got the win, because what Ange was trying to do is tweaking everything, tweaking the players, tweaking the positions, and finally, like Will said, certain individuals he placed in different positions, and it finally worked. Let's not forget, Newcastle is still Newcastle. They'll give anyone a game. I know they lost last night against AC Milan, but they could have won that. PSG as well. They got a good result against PSG. They should have won that as well. And that was with a depleted squad. They had a depleted squad, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But, I think if you're saying, was that us absolute best? No, I don't think so. We're nowhere near what Ange wants to do with this team, in my opinion. This is just, we're at the cusp of what he wants to do. But everything that's happened over the last few weeks have sort of held Ange back a bit because now he's had to tweak stuff. He's had to, put players in makeshift positions, and he's held us back a bit. And that's why when Stel says Ange has done a really good job, I agree with him. I think he's done a fantastic job. Under the circumstances, what he's had to put up with, let's start with the transfer budget, right? Let's start with the players that he's had available to him from the summer. He hasn't been able to go out and get 2 or 3 defenders. He's had to be careful. He's had to sort of pick the best one for the position in Van der Ven, and he's brought him in the hope that we don't get no injuries. Lo and behold, we've got an injury. Maddison, he brought in again. We've bought one player for each essential position. Yeah. So under the circumstances, he hasn't got all the players that he wants yet. But one thing I'll say about Ange is that he doesn't moan. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't hide. He just comes out and says it like it is. It's football. And how refreshing is that? Honestly, how refreshing is that? I haven't seen that from a manager from Tottenham, from any other manager from any other football club for a while. Yeah, and that for me, I think it's fantastic. And we need to do everything we can to keep hold of this guy beyond the 4 years, I think. If he continues like this, 4 years for me should be a minimum term. Like next year, if we're cooking next year, Levy has to offer this guy a new contract and say to him, look, Ange, here's a 2-year extension to your contract. Would you like to stay on? Because I think we can do big things under this guy. And there's going to be other teams sniffing around him. Big clubs are going to be sniffing around Ange. But look, I'm going off on a tangent here. To summarise your answer for you, I don't think we're playing at full potential. Injuries have hindered us quite a bit, but Ange has done fantastically well. Newcastle is still Newcastle, and you can only beat what's in front of you. So I thought we were fantastic, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, no. Haz, I agree. I want to sort of dive on to something else because Ange has come out with some comments which was quite telling. And Will, look, I'll start with you because Ange's comments about Christian Romero's tackle, I thought the tackle was disgusting. I thought it should have been a red card. I think we got away with one. I think we got away with one big time. I thought it was a very, very I think it was a nasty tackle. And is anyone else worried? I'll start with you, Will, but we'll go around as well. But the managers had to come out and say it was clumsy, and I've spoken to him. is that him being polite and saying, I've been in his ear going, you can't be doing that because if you get another red card this season, you're not suspended for 3 games, you're suspended for 4. And if he did get a red card, he didn't. Brilliant, he didn't. But if he did get a red card, would that have been the stain on the game that would have gone really like after every brilliant performance? We were at the time we were 3-0 up, and you're going, why would you do a tackle like that?
Yeah, I think for me, for that one, it was definitely a pointless tackle, right? It wasn't necessary. I don't think it's a red, right? There's nothing about that makes it a red.
Oh, I don't know. He goes on his ankle. The way that his foot
side of his foot
catches his ankle just made me squirm.
Yeah, I mean that one was worse than the one that he got sent off for. To be honest with you, because he was actually making a challenge for the ball. But no, I mean it's. I'm not in the Romero's rash camp. I'm not, right? So for me, I don't have anything bad to say about the.
Is that not when you consider that a rash tackle?
I think
I don't know what the word rash means.
In the sense of over the top, a bit overzealous in a sense.
It was over the top, though.
But my point is when you say rash,
he's going in for
clumsy.
The ball,
but the manager, but the manager coming out and saying that he that was clumsy. Isn't clumsy the similar to being rash in the same sense? Is the manager downplaying it a little bit? And I don't expect the manager to come out and actually publicly castrate one of his captains. I get that. But the fact the manager's had to come out and say it was clumsy and I've spoken to him, doesn't that not tell us that the manager has gone, I can't have this guy doing this every week. It's silly. And
I just don't see the difference between that and standing on the side of a guy's foot and standing on the top of a guy's foot. What's the difference?
Listen, by the way, I'm talking about it from a sense of, I'm talking about this more as a sense of 2023 football, by the way. That's not a red card, 10, 15 years ago. But nowadays, those are red cards, whether we like it or not. He got away with one that day. We can go, do you know what? We take it. By the way, I do take it because...
Perchy, I think you only need to look, if you watch it back and you see Romero's reaction, okay, I think he thought he was off. If you look at his reaction tells you everything that you need to know. When I watched the game live, the TV, the camera, panned onto his face. And I thought, here we go, he's going to be off. He's going to be off. Vard's going to look at this and he's going to be off. And then you can see in his face, he's thinking...
Yeah, I thought that.
Puts his hands up and he's like, "Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. I think he thought he was off."
I don't agree because I think if it's anyone else other than Romero, nobody even says it's a red.
That's cool.
No,
that's cool. We can disagree to whatever, agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree on that. But
steps on the side of Callum Wilson's foot. Nobody goes, "Oh my God, that's a red."
When did he step on his foot though? Yeah, but stepping on someone's foot is different from going in with a slide tackle on someone's ankles.
Slide tackle, though.
Huh?
That's literally not what happened. He didn't go in with a slide tackle. He stepped on the side of his foot.
Oh no! I think there's a difference in my. I think
personally, goes to the ground. So how could it be a slide tackle?
Oh, it didn't look like. My point being is that the way I look at it, and I'll kind of use Aston Villa as an example, right? The amount of people that went absolutely crazy about Matty Cash's tackle on Bentancur, right? Bentancur gets injured, we go absolutely devastating, right? But you flip it and go, and now everyone's sort of in that mode of, oh, we've got I'm not saying you, by the way, I'm not saying you, but it's like everyone, we need to protect Romero because he's one of our players. Well, hang on, no, we can't have it both ways. And that's where we sit there and go, oh, Matty Cash is rash. He's all over the place. He should be suspended, blah, blah, blah. But we can't have it. We can't have it both ways, right? We have to call it what we see, right? Is that not how we are? Look, Stel, I'll bring you in on it. What did you think of it?
Hold on, you can't make it that I'm somehow being two-faced or hypocritical.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you personally.
Right, but what I'm saying is you're using other people's comments from somewhere out there in the ether in order to use it against my argument, which I haven't made. First of all, the difference between the Matty Cash one and the Romero one is Colin Wilson had the ball at the moment that Romero was trying to actually, take the ball off.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
And then
They're not parallels.
Matty Cash comes in and just completely karate chops
Yeah.
the upper leg of Bentancur, right? There's a big difference between completely swinging at a player and taking him off the ground and stepping on the side of a guy's foot, right? Because that's all he does. He goes to get the ball, right? Slips a little bit and steps on the side of his foot.
Yeah, but he lunges in though. Like, I think, let's be fair. Like, he did lunge in for it. Like, that's the listen. By the way,
he made a challenge, right? I'm not saying he didn't lunge in, but that happens all the time when people step on people's feet.
Yeah, but I've seen softer tackles be given red cards nowadays.
Wait, are you saying it was accidental, Will?
No, I'm saying he's going in for the ball, but he steps.
I don't think he's going. He knew what he was doing. For me, yeah,
I don't think he does.
I think he does because Wilson would have been Wilson would have been through if he got up and ran with the ball. So he knew what he was doing and he took one for the team.
The trailing leg, maybe, right? So if you notice, after he steps on the foot and and falls to the ground, he's got his trailing leg that he kind of swings through later. I think that's to keep Wilson from going through, but Wilson was already going down, so it didn't matter. But what I'm saying is the initial step, he literally steps on his foot and then falls to the ground, right? Yes, he lunges forward or he extends his leg out, but it's not, there's nowhere in the rules that that's a red card.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I think if we flip that and that was a Newcastle defender, we would expect it to be a red card for me. I just want to pick up one of the comments, by the way, in the chat, and I've seen this a lot, by the way. It's Romero left one in on him on purpose, revenge for the podcast on Richie. Same as what? No. I'm going to pick this up because I want to debunk it, because actually, one, if that's the case, I would be, as a manager, if I was the manager, I'd be going, what on God's earth are you doing? If that's, I don't agree with it, by the way, Will. I don't agree with it's revenge for what Wilson said about
revenge. He would have did to Wilson what he did to Erling Haaland. You remember that when Erling Haaland yanked his shirt and threw him to the ground in a match, and then he comes in and slides straight through. That's a revenge tackle.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I'm by the way, I'm not sitting here saying that he's doing it, because I'm hearing so many people say it and people like applauding that, and I'm sitting there going, what? Why would you want to applaud that? I'm hearing people saying, I hope he does the same to Matty Cash when we play Villa, and I'm sitting back going, why would you want your centre half to risk suspension for the sake of a tackle like that could potentially put a player out injured? Like, for me, I'm one of these. Look, Stella, you haven't mentioned it, so I'll bring you in on it for a second, my friend. Look, for me, I don't think it's that. But I'm seeing a lot of people saying it, and for me, I'm just sitting there going, if you were Ange Postecoglou, you're a manager. You're a manager and a coach and stuff. If one of your lads was doing that, sure, you'd be in your ear going, what on earth are you doing? You can't be getting suspended for stupid stuff like that, right?
It's such a difficult one because Romero's a bit like Dele Alli. If you take the aggression out of his game, he's half the player. And if he's half the player, there's no point in him being there. So you can't really take that out of his game. He's an old school tackler in a new school era. You know, back in the day, he'd be regarded as one of the hardest, toughest, most horrible players to play against. But in the modern day game, he's reckless, he's a disaster, he's rash, he costs us games.
I wouldn't put him as a disaster. I think he's a good, by the way, I think he's a very good defender. I think actually he's a very good defender, but my argument will always be, doesn't matter how good of a defender you are, if you keep getting yourself sent off and bookings and stuff, and you're not playing because of that sort of stuff, is that doesn't benefit Tottenham at all, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is the part about this narrative that bothers me. Out of 90-something plus games that he's played for the club, he's only missed 4 due to suspension. 4.
He's missed more than 4. He's been suspended several times.
No, he hasn't.
He got suspended twice last season in the league.
No, he didn't.
hold on. I'll let you guys carry on talking. I've got the stats on this one.
Yeah, I don't think you do because I do.
Oh,
He
let me VAR that
yellow
one.
card.
I'll VAR that one.
VAR, double yellow card last year was the first time he's ever got a red card in the league. This was the second sending off.
He got sent off. Then he got sent off in the Champions League.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the Champions League.
Okay, yeah, but we're talking about his Spurs career, right?
No, in the league. Of course, we're talking about the league and how it benefits the league form that we're having, right?
I mean, regardless, if we're playing an egg and spoon race and he's not there, then it doesn't benefit us.
Him getting suspended in the Champions League doesn't affect the league. Right.
No, but it affects us in the champ. Regardless, it doesn't matter what game. We're being pedantic, right? We're being pedantic with it. It really doesn't matter what game. If we're losing a decent defender because of suspension, it doesn't matter if it's the Carabao Cup, if it's the FA Cup. Let's be fair. Look. I'll put it into layman's terms. You say, oh, it's the league, but if he gets suspended and then misses us in a cup final and we lose because we've got Eric Dyer at centre half, we can't then moan because we've got Eric Dyer at centre half.
Right, but that doesn't happen.
No. I'm using what you're saying when you're saying, well, it's just the league. Well, it doesn't matter about the league.
Red cards in the league suspensions carry over into the League Cup.
So Will, are you saying Ange is wrong then with his comments as well?
What about the comments?
Well, he said that Ange has come out and said that it was clumsy.
Yeah, this is where it's all stemmed from. Ange is the one that spoke about the press conference today.
But you're saying it wasn't. It was just
clumsy,
an accident.
Unnecessary. I literally said that was the first comments. I'm talking about this rashness and that him being out, the way that he plays has cost us so many things when it hasn't, right? This was the first time that he's had a 3-game suspension due to a red card in the league in his Tottenham career. First time.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. He's always on he's walking a tight rope, isn't he? Most of the time.
He hasn't, even in yellow cards, he's never missed games due to yellow card suspensions. Never. Not in 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that, but what I'm saying is he's always, as fans, yeah, all you got to do is look at the chat and see what the chat are saying, Will. Yeah, okay, this guy, look, end of the day, Romero is a fantastic defender, but what I'm saying is the way he plays and the way that the interpretations are these days, okay, he's always walking that tight line, you know. He's always on the edge.
But you want to be on the edge.
Yeah, but this is...
Well, okay. Sorry, Haz, I'll just jump in for just 1 second. I've just looked at it. Yeah, you're right. He's had two red cards in the Premier League. I'll give you that one, Will. But he averages a yellow card once every 3 games. Like, we can't have one of our best centre half getting that, right? That doesn't benefit us, right? If he gets a booking every 3 games, averages that obviously.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's not even the highest yellow card earner in our squad, right? So Udogie's has had more yellow cards than him, right? Bissouma's had more yellow cards than him.
Okay, yeah, but
so there are far more rash players in our squad than Christian Romero.
No, I agree. By the way, this isn't just directing him. I think collectively, discipline at the moment at the football club needs to be sorted. This isn't a Romero question when I say about the yellow cards that we pick up, because I think you're right. I actually agree with you. Udogie gets a load. So does Bissouma. I think collectively we get a lot of yellow cards. And my problem with Romero is he's meant to be one of the leaders. So he's in. I judge him, Son, Maddison on a different level. They're the ones I want. These
are preconceived notions that coming from the past. He was only made a leader of the squad this year, right? So that's
but we're talking about this season, right? We're talking about this season in the sense of, like, for me, I've expected a lot more from him, but I just feel at the moment though, like I just feel like we protect him in the sense that I'm not saying you
protecting him from though. Like, I don't understand. Like,
in the sense of
since when has a defender getting yellow cards and red cards been a bad thing, right? Pepe,
of course, it's a bad thing.
Ramos.
You don't want
the legends, the biggest legends of the game in the last 20 years have all been yellow card and red card prone. Name a defender who didn't get yellow cards and red cards in the last 20 years who was world class.
But it's knowing when to pick up those yellow cards, though, isn't it?
I'm sorry, but Ramos averaged 7. He got 7 red cards in his first 3 years at Real Madrid. 7.
Let's look at where Romero's picked up some of his yellow cards, like past the halfway line. Okay, going in on a player in the opposition half when there's no need to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. These are the things I'm talking about. Like, by all means, yeah, defenders are going to pick up yellow cards, And we also say when a central defensive midfielder is picking up yellow cards, that means he's doing his job, right? Because he's being physical, he's getting in there, he's getting stuck in. But it's knowing when to pick up that yellow. It's knowing when, as a defender, I'm going to go in potentially at a key moment and I'm going to pick up a yellow card, but it's potentially going to save my team from going a goal down or whatever, from conceding.
A lot of those have, right? Like, for example, the sending off during AC Milan was him for trying to prevent a counterattack.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with those. Like, I get that. I don't mind if someone has to do. You take one for the team and you take one for the team and stuff. I get it. Like that time we were out of the Champions League and you've got to do anything you can, right? And I've got no issues with that. I think for me, I think I caveat this season differently. Because we talked about all the positives. I thought under Ange's great. But at the moment, we haven't got cover for him if he gets suspended. Because then look, I'm being hypothetical. It didn't happen, which is brilliant. Didn't happen. But he gets sent off. Then we go and sit there and go, well, we've got to watch Emerson Royale at centre-half again. And then we go, oh, he's rubbish. He's crap. He's this, that, and the other. But if the player doesn't get himself sent off, we then don't have to suffer that. Bear in mind, at the time when he did that tackle, we were 3-0 up. And I think that bit is the bit that's got to me. It's like, there's a part of me that sort of goes, just don't do it. You don't need to. We're winning the game. The game's over at this point. 3-0 up. We look comfortable. And then you sit and go, oh, no. But, yeah, listen, look, it is what it is, right?
Actually,
He gets up, but
I'll give you an example, right? When he tugged Cucurella by the hair.
Yeah.
Things like that. I know back in the day you can get away with things like that back in the day. If it was your Vinnie Jones or anything like that. Exactly. But we all saw what happened. It was in national media as well. It picked it up for some reason. He didn't get anything for it. But these are what I'm talking about. Sorry?
No. We did the goal for him. Right? The goal was given.
I don't know how, but there you go.
I think. Look, listen. I'll kind of finish it off in this part for me. I think he's a very, very good defender. He's a very good defender, but my worry is at the moment, especially at this moment now, is we can't afford a good defender getting suspended. I think that's where I'm at the moment. You lose a Romero for 3-4 games because he's suspended with a straight red card, and then we sit there and have to deal with Eric Dyer playing at centre half or Emerson Royale playing at centre half. And I think that for me at the moment, look, I think things will get better
when
the
club's responsibility. It's not Romero's fault, though. See, I agree with you, right? That we can't afford it. I agree with that part of it, right? But that's Daniel Levy's position to have a backup. Because if you have a defender like Romero, you know that he is or likely to get some kind of suspension throughout the season. Therefore, you should have backup able to fill that spot when that situation happens. Because it's his ferocity that makes him the quality defender that he is. And Postecoglou said that with his own mouth. And if you take that out of him, he's not the same.
No, I get that. I think it's about time and place. I think that's what Has was trying to sort of get at.
Yeah, he's not doing this on purpose.
Huh?
He's not doing it on purpose.
What, pulling Cucurella's hair?
No, that's what I'm saying. Obviously, he intends to pull Cucurella's hair. What I'm saying is in this, he's trying to prevent he's in the moment and he's trying to do it. He's not going in there to hurt Callum Wilson.
Can we agree that
he wasn't going in there to hurt Enzo?
Can we agree that it's just the style that he plays in? That's how he plays. He's a South American hothead, and that's how he plays. That's how he plays.
He's a player like Pepe, Cellini, Ramos.
Exactly. But for me,
of the game.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you. They are all legends of the game. But for me, watching it, it's like heart in mouth moments because I'm like, oh no, it's gonna. And I can guarantee you, most of us are like that who are watching the game thinking, please. But it's just the way he is. And like everyone said as well, you take that out of him, he's probably half the player. That's his style. So
yeah,
look, for me, Romero's quality, I think, really, really good defender, World Cup winner. But sometimes I just think you need to use your brain sometimes and pick your moments when you want to do things. That's all I'm saying. But I wouldn't take it out of his game completely. 100% not.
Yeah, no,
if
definitely.
You don't take it out, it's going to happen, right?
Sorry?
So if it happens, then you can't criticize them for it. If you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, but
Right? It's like
for
expecting
me,
a cage
I
fight.
would always be critical if it costs us stuff. Look, he didn't get sent off. We're happy days. We move on from that part, but I just worry we can't. And I'm not saying anyone here said it, but I see a lot of people defending his stuff, but then criticizing other players, calling them reckless. It's like, for me, I'm not. By the way, Will, you've not said it. Neither has anyone else here. But I see so many people go, "Oh, well, I love what he does," and then they go and say, "Well, this person does it, and this person's reckless." For me, that's hypocrisy, and I don't live in that world. Like, for me,
can I just say, Ellie? I didn't say all South Americans are hotheads. By the way, I didn't say
he's
that.
a South American hothead.
Yeah, I didn't say all South Americans are hotheads. Just
But what I'm saying is, like, but my main point is if you know he's a pit bull, right? That fought in dog pits. Are you surprised when he tries to take nips at people? Like, if you know that, like, if you adopt a pit bull from fighting pits, and then you put it down because it took a nip at somebody, who's the irresponsible one?
Yeah,
you for adopting a dog who fought in fights.
Or you could argue that if you the person that the trainer can and is in the manager can, if the manager can get the right balance out of Romero, then what you've got there is a very, very good defender. I think Ange has got a job here with him to go get the right balance. If there's the right balance with Romero, I think we've got a very good defender. What you don't want is your best centre half getting suspended or constantly booked. I think it's about being clever and not being, as has said, a hothead, right? Clever, using it right.
A red card sending off every season for his entire career at Real Madrid.
Who?
Every season. And he was there for what?
But we're not talking about Ramos though here. Ramos was an amazing defender.
Yeah, and so was Romero. We are talking about Ramos.
He's good. He might be great. We don't wait until he gets to that great level for me. I think he's good though. But listen, look, I don't want to sort of go on too much because actually, there's a lot of positives to talk about. I just wanted to sort of touch that. We end up going around 15, 20 minutes. Look, I want to slightly move on to something else that came out in between over the weekend or at the beginning of the week. It was probably more the beginning of the week. Destiny Doggy's got a new contract and potentially Pape Sarr's getting a new one. Look, I'll come to you to start it off, my friend. For me, getting a Doggy signed up to a long-term deal was very, very good business from Tottenham. I heard there was slight rumours that there was a clause in his contract that clubs were debating in January to activate, and Spurs wanted to get rid of that before the window opened. But he's now signed up to 7 years to Tottenham till 2030. The kid's 20 years of age. Surely that's good business. And Pape Sarr is supposedly getting one very, very soon as well.
Yeah, for me, it's one of the few things that the club have got right in recent times. I think as soon as I saw that he's been offered a new contract, I thought to myself, there must be a big club sniffing around him 100% because, he hasn't even had a full season playing at Tottenham yet and he's been given a new contract. So that tells me, there's big fish circling around. And we've done the right thing. We've tied him down because we want to keep all our best players at the club. We want to build for the future. Ange wants his core group of players to be at the club. Look, we can't carry on chopping and changing players. We can't. We have to have a solid foundation. I'll take you back to the days of Rose, Walker, Jan, Toby. They were the solid foundations of the club. They were the ones that the team were built on. And this is what we need to do now. Adogi, Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, all these players need to be in and around the club for years to come. So for me, I think it's absolutely, the best decision that we could have made is to tie him down to a new contract. And with Sarr as well, Sarr's got, I think he's not reached anywhere near his full potential yet, I think. But he will get there, and I think it's important that we tie these players down. I've got no issues with it whatsoever. Udogie for me has come in. At a young age, 20, 21 years old, from another league, and it's like duck to water. He's been absolutely amazing. I'd say top 3 best players this season. I would say, alongside Van der Ven, Vicario, and Maddison, top 4, easily. And he's in the Italian national team as well now, regularly. So that tells me he's absolutely quality. He's going to be an elite player. He's on his way there, and he's all ours now. So long may that continue.
Yeah.
I just hope this is the club policy that I just wanted to say. Tying down all our best young players to long-term contracts, that has to be our policy going forward. And it will help Ange in the long run as well, because he can then start to accommodate those players with other signings that could sort of step in when needed to.
Yeah, no, definitely has. No, I agree. Look, Stel, I'll come to you. I got a memo that you're not a big fan of Mr. Levy. I just someone told me. I wasn't 100% sure. Rumor has it. But look, for me, I'm always been on the one of credit where credit's due. Listen, whoever is the one that's got this deal done with the doggy, got to say credit where credit's due on that part. I mean, if we'd have left it and not got him signed up, and then someone goes and snatches him in the summer, in the January, we're all looking going, who the hell has allowed that to happen? So I think getting this guy signed up for 7 years, I wasn't sure how it worked because of all these new laws that were coming in about 5 years with the amortization crap, with the sort of rules that was. And then I saw we signed him up for 7 years after that was announced. But like, I don't actually know how it worked, or if you can just sign up a player that you already have up for 7 years. But look, good business to get a doggy signed up, because I think this is what the surprise for me at the season at the moment. I think he came in, I didn't think he would be as good as he was going to be. I'll be honest, he's one of my favourite players at the moment watching this kid play. I like him a lot. I watch him a lot. And I can't wait next weekend to go and actually watch this kid live. Because I am going to a game, next against Everton. So I'll be going to that game. So I'm actually really, really excited about this kid. And obviously Pape Sarr, all the reports are coming out that he's only on 10 grand a week and he's about to get a new bumper, new contract. Is this Spurs changing their ways, or is this just what I would say a flash in the pan? Let me know.
Yeah, so first of all, there's a guy in the chat called Flying Solo who says, so Stella's implying that all habits are set in stone and can't be changed, really. I haven't spoken for 30 minutes. So Flying Solo,
because he still hasn't said anything for ages.
I don't know what narcotic you're smoking, what alcoholic beverage you're drinking. I don't know what planet you live on, but I'll leave it there.
I was going to say, I felt a bit bad you hadn't spoken for about 20 minutes, mate.
No. Listen, it's nice not to speak sometimes, right? But I just find it interesting that I get called out in the comments when I haven't spoken. So just goes to show you the state, broken Britain. Assuming he's from Britain. Look, if we're going to build a squad and we're going to genuinely take this somewhere, then if there's players that the manager wants to lock down, do it as soon as possible. And by locking them down, you touched on it already. One, it means if someone does come in for them, there's going to be a massive price tag on their head, because I'm sure there'll be clauses. And two, they'll have to buy out the remainder of the contract, which is going to cost a lot of money. So we're protecting ourselves from someone coming in and trying to prize them away. And we're also securing them down to a long-term vision, hopefully. Also, I don't think their wages are going to be spectacularly high, being so young. So we probably...
Yeah, he was only on like 45K a week or something like that.
Well, there you go. We're shortchanging the players, and they've agreed to it. So it's on them. It's not our fault. They've agreed to it.
And it was a 6-year contract, so he's with us now till 2030. So
yeah, with regard to the laws on the
details
contract,
have come out since, and that makes more sense, right? If you're going to lock him down till 2030.
Yeah. Well, that locks him down to his what? That locks him down to his what? 26, right? 27. So yeah.
With regards to the contract, the laws are you can't sign a player on more than 5 years. But
right, okay,
we've already signed him. This is different.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't know what the rules were, so that was why I wasn't sure.
Those rules are to stop clubs paying the transfer fee over 8-9 years. There's no fee
after the Chelsea thing.
Yeah, there's no fee that we need to pay for a doggy because we've already bought him. So
yeah. No, I just wasn't sure how the rules work. That was all. I'm a little bit unaware with all this stuff. So
it's only when you initially sign the player, it can't be more than a 5-year contract.
yeah, it makes sense.
But I think also I think maybe we should have waited to the end of the season because they're off to a good start, Spurs. But you never know what a player's going to be like in a second season, or like look at Sessegnon, for example. He's picked up injury after injury after injury, and we're locked into this guy for 4 years. We've literally had nothing from Sessegnon.
Yeah.
So we want to be a bit careful as well here that we don't get into these situations. Having said that, both Udogie and Pape Sarr have shown us more than Sessegnon's ever shown. So I don't want to compare them to Sessegnon.
I would also sort of touch. So just to sort of touch on that point, I actually agree with what you're saying. Now I agree. I think there's a slight difference here in the sense with Udogie and Sarr where there's not what I would say high risk if you put them on a long. If they have to stick with us for X amount of time, we didn't sit there and spend 70 million quid on these lads, right? Where if it doesn't, like, use what Chelsea are doing and going, well, that's high risk because if those players don't work out and they're sat there, like, for me, the likes of Udogie and Sarr in a specific ones, what we spent combined about 30 million quid on the pair of them, right? And you sit there and go, well, it's not massively high risk, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, Perchy, you don't want to be locked into 7 years worth of wages. Like, look at Ndombele.
Yeah, I get that.
Because we can't get a buyer, we're paying. Well, he's on loan.
Yeah, I see. I get your point.
The wages are insane. These two guys' wages are much lower, but I don't know. I think maybe we should have just waited a little bit because, as much as I like Pape Sarr and I think he's a good player, in front of goal he's horrendous, and in terms of creativity, he's horrific. So far, in that attacking third, I don't want him anywhere near the attacking third.
Yeah, I see your point.
So is he really the future? I don't know. I'm not saying he's not, but I think he's limited in what he offers us so far. And Udogie, is different. We can see there's a lot of benefit with him. We can see it. But with Pape Sarr, listen, I like Pape Sarr. I think Pape Sarr and Bissouma is a great combination. I think it's the best partnership, actually, for Bissouma. We get more out of Bissouma when Pape Sarr plays. Why? I don't know.
I bang on. I agree with you big time on that one.
But maybe we should have just. It's not like Maddison. You see Maddison, you want to secure him as long as you can, as long as he doesn't get injuries. You can see it. Like Son, you can see it. We get performances year in year out. I think maybe we went a little bit too early with these two. But listen, the club have seen something. I'm sure Ange has wanted it as well. So.
Look, listen. I think that's the point, right? I get what you're saying about maybe leaving it, but if it's true, we don't know that there was a clause in Udogie's contract that would have been a relatively low transfer fee, and the likes of Man City were circling, and big football clubs were circling for someone like him. Then it makes complete and utter sense, right? Because you don't want to be stung with that sort of release clause if it was available. What it does also do is it just makes the likes of Udogie, basically, if someone wants to go and buy him, use him as an example, and use Sarr if he gets a new contract as well. But it makes it kind of, in a sense, prices out clubs unless they want to go and spend your 100-odd million quids on a left back and a centre midfielder, which relatively doesn't normally happen. But look, Will, I'll come to you on it. Look, for me, as I said, I'm a massive fan of Udogie, so I'm more than excited to see him get a new contract. As I mentioned, he's probably one of my favourite players I've seen at the moment. Just there's something about him. I like this kid. He's raw, rugged, and stuff. Sarr, I agree everything what Stel said. I think you get the best out of Sarr and the best out of Bissouma when them two play next to each other. I think when somebody else is next to either one of them, you don't get the best results from either one of them. It's yin and yang for me with Bissouma and Sarr. But look, what do you think? Do you think it's the club are going down a different route, or is this more we're just trying to lock down young talent for the foreseeable?
Yeah, I just think I don't know. The Sarr one, maybe not. The Udogie one, after looking at the deals of the contract, why did we do that in the first place with Udogie either? Until I looked to see what his wages were on, and then also to how long the extension would have been for. it makes a little bit more sense in that way. Same with Sar. Maybe if he's on super low wages because we bought him as an under 20.
I read that
under
Sar's
21.
on 10 grand a week from what I read.
Yeah,
I don't
so,
know
I
if
mean,
it's true, but that's what I read.
Yeah, then that you would definitely want to just. Yeah, I think he deserves more than 10 grand a week.
Oh, agreed, yeah.
So as much as he's playing, and there may be things in their contract that once they get a certain number of appearances, that the wage fee can be restructured, right? So that may be they may have to do it. Because, for example, if I'm a youngster and I'm coming in, I'm going to negotiate. Yeah, maybe I'll take low wages at the beginning, but if I'm playing week in, week out in the first team, I'm going to want more cash, right? So, that's what I would put in my contract or my son's contract if I was negotiating one. But
yeah, totally get that completely. But look, I think look, sort of finish on that, like sort of, so to speak, was I like that if we're going down this road, I want to see much more of this where we are promoting youngsters and financially rewarding them if they're playing week in, week out. I think that's such an important thing. I think people miss it. I think they just see it. Listen, especially I think Adoji specifically, I think he's now on number one. He's our number one left back. So of course he should be getting rewarded for it. Sar's coming in. He's much more of a squad player or first 11 player, whatever one you want to go with. But he's in the team when he's fit most of the time. I think he's played every game that he's been fit for. I don't think he's been on the bench except the opening game of the season. Might be wrong. Someone might confirm that. And the ones that he was obviously injured for. But so listen, I've got no problems with it. I just want to see if we're going down this model, then I want to see a lot more of these young lads coming in, not just through the academy, but we're signing these sort of young lads. And look, if that's the sort of model we're going down, because it kind of leads on to, I haven't got a little tab banner for it, but look, I want to sort of go on to sort of like transfers and stuff. Ange Postecoglou's come out and said he wants a centre back in January, which the fact he's come out and said it tells me that is what we're doing in January. Is the first thing we're doing is getting a centre off, which for me, I think most of us will probably agree that's where we should be getting a centre off immediately. But Stel, I'll come to you on that point. I think, as I said, the manager's come out and said it. Do you expect us to be getting a centre half now in January?
We have to get a centre half in January.
I agree.
If we're so, expectations change as seasons go on, and then when then people kind of use expectations as an excuse, right? We all I think we've had this conversation 100 times. We all said at the start of the season we thought we'd kind of be 8th, 7th, 6th, whatever. When we sold Harry Kane, mid-table, then we got off to a great start. The players we signed have all done well, and then expectation changed. Right? My expectation for this season is to get top 4 now, right? I honestly believe we can challenge for top 4. There's no reason why not. Aston Villa aren't going to keep this up all season, not with Europe. Newcastle, okay, now they're out of Europe. When they get their injuries back, they'll challenge. Man United, let's see if they have a manager change, but they've got injuries that will come back. We're in the mix. There's no reason why Spurs can't get top 4. Best football out of those teams I've mentioned when we're on it, and our players will come back as well at some point. So the expectation changes. So what you've got to do is support your manager to achieve the expectation. So if the expectation is now top 4, and, in an ideal world, an FA Cup, let's just throw it in there. I don't think we will win the FA Cup, but let's, we're in it. Then back your manager. Get him a centre-back, get him a striker, and get him a wide player. Or get another midfielder and get a wide player. Whatever it is, whatever the combination is. Get those 3 players that we need to really finish the season strong and get us back into the Champions League. Maybe try and get to an FA Cup final and see if we can win it, and build on it next season. If we don't bring in those players, we'll fizzle out. What you're seeing now will happen again. We won't have any cover. So you've got to back Spurs. Levy has to back the manager. Otherwise, is
it Daniel Levy though? That's the question. Now we've got a new structure in place. Is it Daniel Levy now? When we're saying back, is it Daniel Levy now? Daniel
Levy's hired the people to do that job.
Yeah, but is he not the one that has said, "Fine, there's your budget for January. You guys go on and get it. I'm just being devil's advocate. I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
is that not what it is now?
If the budget is £20 million, then he's not.
Of course, yeah. That's obviously. That's exactly my point. But that's my point. But if that's what it is, but we don't know the answer to that. I'm just speculating.
Listen, Perchy, we sold Harry Kane, the best player in the club, and arguably the best striker in the world, who can be a creator, an assist, and a goal scorer. Right? He's the whole package. Right? We have not replaced him. We haven't even come close to replacing him.
I agree.
And this chairman has got away with it. Levy has got away with that massively because Ange has done such a good job, and the signings that have come in, when they're worth it, we're doing very well very quickly, which never happens. Normally, players take time to bed in. So he's not going to keep getting away with it. We know how this story ends. So if he's given 20 million to Scott Munn,
can't be 20 million
to Paratici and Lange. Well, let's say he's given them insufficient backing.
I get your point.
Right, then it's down to those people to turn around to Levy and say, you brought us in to do a job. I can't do my job with the way you're running this. And they need to call him out, or they need to leave. If they stay, then they are accepting this method. They're accepting this regime. So for me, it's very simple. It always starts with the chairman. It's always on the chairman because he's the only variable that hasn't changed in 23 years of failure.
No,
everything has changed. So it will always end with him. It doesn't. The blame doesn't go to Levy when we start winning stuff. When we start winning stuff, then the blame's off him. But until that day, the blame will always be on him because we've been through too many managers, too many head scouts, too many football directors, too many chopping and changing of players, too many head scouts. Right? This is manager number 17. This is head scout, chief director, whatever you want to call them, number 7. How many
projects are we on?
So to answer your question, it is all on him. It's if he wants to win silverware, it's simple. He backs the project that he's building. He backs the staff that he's invested to bring into the club. He backs the manager that he has hired through this new structure. Back it. That means you give it the sufficient money it needs to keep bringing in the players like Bentancurs, Kulusevskis, Van der Vens. None of us are expecting Mbappe. None of us are expecting Kvaratskhelia. Keep buying the kind of players we've been buying, and it will work. If we start doing more Solomons, and we start doing a cheeky Clement Longap, or we start bringing in, nonsense like Chicken Royales, then forget it. Forget it.
I get that. Look, before I sort of move on, I'll move on to you in a second. But guys, come on. There's 185 you here and only 75 likes. Come on. This should be over 100 at least now. 150. Let's aim for 150 likes. That would be absolutely amazing. And look, I'll go straight over to Will here because I've been putting this sort of theory at the moment, and it is literally just a theory that what I think is going to happen in January. And maybe this is me being crazily optimistic, but call me delusional, call me whatever, I don't mind. But my theory is going to be this.
All right, Sally, let me
Spurs are going to release. I say release. Are you all right there, Has? It looks like his camera just fell. I think Spurs are going to release three players off the registration: Hugo Lloris, Eric Dyer, and Ivan Perisic. I think we're going to do that because Perisic is going to probably be injured to the end of the season anyway, and we're not going to renew his contract.
So, Perchy, when you say release, what do you mean by release?
So obviously the clubs have to register a 25-man squad. So in January, that you can now take players off and put new players on. So my theory is Spurs will try and get 3 players in January.
So you're saying they're going to stay at the club?
Well, either they stay at the club or they don't, but they won't be registered by the end of it. Either we try and offload them, but we can't offload the likes of Perisic. So
Perchy, I'm just trying to understand this, right?
Yep.
Unless we sell them, they stay at the club. We still pay their wages.
You can pay their contract off.
So Eric Dyer's out contract in the summer, though, as well, remember? And so is Hugo Lloris.
But they'll be under contract until then. So what I'm saying is...
You can pay their contract out.
Yeah, well, yeah, you basically mutually consent it, yeah.
Right, this is what I'm asking. So therefore, what you're saying is they're not going to be part of the squad, which is named in January. But unless they're sold, either they're going to sit there rotting away for the next 6 months, and we pay their wages, or you cancel their contract, mutual consent, but you're going to have to pay that off anyway, which is the same as paying their wages anyway. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, but there's no need
theoretically,
to have him on the squad, right? Especially say Perisic's not able to play for the rest of the season. What's the point of having him sitting around
registered when we can't use him, right?
Yeah, you just pay him off and then don't register him, right? So same thing with Hugo Lloris. If he's not going to play, which is obviously clear after giving what's his name a new contract, Forster.
Yeah.
There's no point in him sitting in the back office.
Is Levy going to pay wages for players?
I think
he has to pay them anyway.
But they would have to. You have to pay them anyway, right?
Yeah. So if you have to pay them anyway, is he not going to say, "Well, then put them in the squad because I'm paying their wages"? Because
ideally,
in the squad, Lloris isn't in the squad.
They're not playing anyway, right? So the thing is, but still, that's the key.
Lloris is in the squad, Will.
Right, but hold on.
He is, but he's not in the.
Lloris is in the squad.
He's registered in the
squad, but he's not ever been on the bench once this season.
He's not on the bench. He's not involved in the team.
But that's not what Perchy's saying. Perchy's saying like deregistered. That's why I asked the question, because that means they're not in the squad.
Look,
but that's the point, right?
There's more expenses that a player use. If you don't cancel their contract, they can come to the canteen and eat whatever whenever they want. They can go to their hotel room and do whatever they want. They can cost the club money without actually playing, right?
Exactly.
That money's minor compared to wages, Will. That's a tiny.
But the wages will be accounted for still. We're talking that the wages will be accounted for.
But this is what, guys, this is what I'm saying to you. Are you saying to me Daniel Levy is going to pay off 6 months of wages to get rid of them, rather than saying, well, no, if I'm going to pay that anyway, then keep them in the squad? I don't see Daniel Levy moving a player from the squad unless they're sold.
But we can't sign anyone.
Can't play.
Perisic
can keep in the zone.
You can if you sell a player.
You can't sell an injured player.
You're not going to be able to sell them, right?
Lloris isn't injured. Lloris isn't injured.
Perisic is.
But he's back in March. Perisic is back in March.
They've already come out and said that they don't play any more games at Tottenham. He will not be back.
I've read in March he's back.
He'll be back in March. No way.
I don't think he'll be back at all. Listen. Come back at this exact moment if he plays another game for Tottenham. I think he's played his last game for Tottenham and he won't be here anymore.
Guys, just for the record, I agree with you. I think we should rip it up.
Oh, I know you do.
I don't think Daniel Levy is going to pay to get rid of a player.
He's done it before. That's not. He's done it twice.
Yeah,
why would you?
We did it last.
He did it with Aurier.
Matt Doherty
with Man Doherty.
No, we didn't with Aurier because we agreed that he would go to Nottingham Forest. We sold him.
No.
We
cancelled his contract. We ripped his contract. Sergio Aurier's up. He didn't
enough.
go to Forest. He went on a free to Villarreal and then went to Forest.
No. Matt Doherty is because we fucked up on the rules.
Still had to pay him out.
Still had to do it though.
Yeah, but that's because we messed up. That's because we got it wrong.
You do realise
that was against our own will. We screwed up.
You realise you don't necessarily have to pay it all. You can make an agreement. You can have an agreement with the player. Let's just
pay it over time.
Yeah, you can either pay it over time, or you can say, well, look, if you don't get another club until your contract's up, we will pay it all in instalments. Or if you get it tomorrow, we will pay this.
If I'm Eric Dyer, right, and my contract ends in on the 1st of August. Why am I going to agree to anything other than me getting my weekly wage, which is what my contract says? Why am I going to agree to anything different to that? Unless you sell me. What?
Because you're still getting a weekly wage. Hold on. When they cancel,
but I want it weekly, Will. I don't want it in 3 months. I want it now because that's what I'm getting now.
You'll get it now. You're still paying it in installments. That's what installments means. You're paying it the same thing.
You would pay it as if you'd be
paying
your wages anyway.
6-month period.
Okay. So why is Daniel Levy going to pay Eric Dyer 6 months of wages
so he can register another player?
So we can register another player and actually get another player on the books.
I don't think he'll do that. I think if he's going to have to pay 6 months of wages to get rid of him, he'll say no, keep him to the end of the season. I think he's going to force the hand.
He had to do it with Aurier and he had to do it with Doherty.
You got to remember, Stel. Hear me out. This is the point, right? This is the difference, and I think exhibiting the sort of problems that we've had at this football club. And I actually agree with a lot of stuff what you're saying, but I think there's a difference here. There is a difference because someone like an Eric Dyer, like, listen, you can, for example, if Eric Dyer is speaking, he could have talk. Same with Hugo Lloris, same with Perisic to a certain extent, slightly different because of his long-term injury, but the likes of Hugo Lloris could sit there and go, do you know what? One of the Saudi clubs has just offered me 180 grand a week. Can I have my contract? Can I come over here, get my contract ripped up so I can go and join them for free? Cool, you're done. See you later. Have a good time. Lovely to meet you.
But Perchy, that's what I said. But Perchy, that's what I said. You're
that's not selling him. That's terminating his contract so he can go sign for someone else.
Yeah, because he's going to go to another club. Fair enough. I don't see any player at Spurs us agreeing to pay wages for 6 months unless they're going to another club. I don't see Levy agreeing to that. Because
I already agreed to it.
I will put a friendly wager with you, Stel.
When it's already
I'll put a friendly wager with you. Before the end of the transfer window, we've got rid of at least one player and terminated their contract. Little friendly wager.
I not unless they're going to another club, whether it's either to go on a free or on a sale.
I think regardless,
didn't go anywhere.
It'll be one of two things. Either we don't register them and they're still at the football club, or we register them and we get rid of their contract. I think it'll be one of the two. I genuinely think that we're going to have 3 spots available and there'll be 3 spots for us to sign players. I'll be honest, that's my theory. And then if, for example, we don't sign 3 and we sign 2, they'll register one of them or whatever, right? But I think the likes of Perisic, he's not going to play. He's not going to kick another ball for Tottenham again. My theory, my opinion. Could be wrong. I think Lloris and Dyer are not going to play another game of football for this football club either as well. So I think, listen, it could be optimism, delusion. It could be. Listen, I know Stel makes, by the way, Stel, you make great points because we've seen it all before. We've seen this all before. But what Will's equally saying, we have seen us get rid of players, the Serge Auriers, the Matt Doherty's of equally players of recent note we've got rid of and torn up their contracts out of blue. The Serge Aurier one was completely out of the blue when it happened. But look, we
could have used them that season too, by the way. We could have used them that next season too, by the way.
Yeah. Look, I'll come to you. Look, that was just my, what I would say, theorizing on how we're going to do things. Do you see what I'm seeing, or do you think that it's going to be a different route?
Right, well, sorry, guys. Sorry. Right. So I was right. Serge Aurier joined 1 month later to Villarreal. So the reason... No, hold on. No. This is nonsense. This is nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
Yes, it is. The reason, yes, it is.
The reason with Villarreal when we terminated his contract.
I'm sorry. It's too convenient.
It's
the reason it was mutually agreed between player and club is because Serge Aurier knew within a month there was another club that he was going to be able to go to. That's why he agreed to it.
Villarreal the next day, then Stel.
Because Villarreal didn't want to pay the money, so we had to mutually agree to release him.
We released him
the next day. Why did it happen?
We released him on a Monday. Why is he not signed for Villarreal on a Tuesday?
Because he had to find the other club, but he would have had suitors lined up.
He had to find the other club.
Yeah, that's I think exactly what we made.
But he would have had suitors
in the summer window.
He would have had suitors interested because it was done in October after the transfer window. So it was because the only way it would have worked was as on a free agent. So for me, this makes sense. This is you lot don't get Levy. None of you still get Levy, right? This is why I said Harry Kane. This is
dude. It was a month
no, because you made out Serge Aurier didn't have a club to go to. Yes, he did. He went Villarreal a month later.
He did at the time when we got rid of him. Not at the time we got rid of him.
He had no club. When we cancelled his contract,
you think his agent didn't have things lined up in the background?
You know how agents had them. Exactly. Of course, he would have had them talking to him.
Well, I just said.
We didn't cancel his contract so he could go to another club. We canceled his contract and he found another club.
Yeah,
big difference.
No, we count. No, it's not because Villarreal then don't have to pay for him.
Stelios, he had no agreement at all. No interest.
He had no agreement. in your face and in
Hold on.
my face.
No,
Behind
no,
the
no,
scenes,
no.
he had things lined
No,
up.
no, no,
Will
no, no,
100%.
no. At that time, there were multiple links to him to multiple other clubs after we let his contract
For a
go.
wage, for a transfer fee, Will. So by mutually cancelling the contract, there's no transfer fee, which allows Villarreal to get him on the free. That's why they agreed to it. And I guarantee you, we wouldn't have paid the full salary either.
With Villarreal at all when we let him go.
Sorry, Will?
Grasping at straws. There was no agreement.
No. I didn't hear what you said. Don't say that. I didn't hear what you said.
There was
Not
no
grasping at
agreement.
straws. You're grasping at straws.
With Villarreal when we canceled his contract.
That you know of, that I know of, that the media didn't tell us. But behind the scenes, the agent
there was. Until
because
you know,
because he went to a club within a month.
Hold on.
Because he went to a club within a month.
That's a month later, Stelios. He was jobless, teamless, trainingless for a month.
Yes. Because he was contracted to work for Spurs.
No, he wasn't. He was released from his contract.
He was out of contract.
Which then freed him up to go on a free to other clubs that had it lined up.
Find another contract.
Will. No, that's not how it works, dude.
It is.
Where'd you get this from? Where'd you get this nonsense from?
How long does he have to be out of a job, Stel, before
Will,
there's nothing lined up?
Will.
How long does he have to be out of a job?
No. These are silly questions. Hold on a minute. Stop.
It's not silly.
Stop this matter. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When a player is working for a club, okay, the agent is aware of when the contract's going to end. 2 years in advance, the agent will say to the player, right, what do you want? Do you want me to try and negotiate an extension with your existing club? Do you want to move? What do you want to do? Okay. The agent will then speak to the club. The club would have informed the agent, I don't think we're going to keep this player. At that point, the agent will then start calling around and saying, is anyone interested in my client? Then the agent has to agree terms upon which Spurs and his client can part ways should the client no longer want to stay, and then have those clubs lined up. It doesn't just, I'm unemployed, I'll go give my CV to Villarreal. That's not how it works. If you think that's how it works, you lot are...
Who said that?
You did. You said that he was... The only reason they got him is because he was unemployed. This was all lined up.
Arrangement or agreement with him. Look, when they come to him and he says...
This was lined up, dude, man. 100%.
Show me the evidence.
But my point being is, if it was lined up, why would he wait a month? If it was lined up, as you're saying, why would he wait a month?
Yeah, because right, it was lined up. There might have been 3 or 4 clubs, Perchy, and then we don't know what wage agreements, which club would offer in the longest term of contract or the best wage. So they're going to weigh it up. So it takes a bit of time.
You're wrong. Look, I'm going to tell you
I'm not wrong
right now. Look, yes, Sky Sports, September 1st, 2021 at 6:32 a.m. in the UK. Okay. The right back's deal was set to run out at the end of the season, although Oreo told the club of his intention to leave at the end of the last campaign. However, with no suitable offer on the table during this transfer window, the player deemed to have no future at the club. Both parties have now decided to go.
No offer for a transfer, Will. That's what I'm saying to you. No one was prepared to pay money for him.
But the theory it could go during
the transfer window, and the player deemed to have no future at the club.
Yeah,
both parties have now decided to go their separate ways.
That's a different. So that's the club telling him. That's the agent speaking to the club and saying, "What do you want from my client? This is what my client wants." And the club have told the agent, "We no longer want your club services." We know exactly. At that point, they've then got to find the best way out. So either Spurs can have him on the books for a year, or the agent, which is what's happened here, has said to the club, "Terminate the contract under mutual agreement." And then we will find
what happened here. The club initiated it.
Yes, it is, because once the club agreed to it, he would have had clubs lined up, and then he went to Villarreal.
Initiated it.
But no, the agent does, Will. The agent would have said, "What are you doing with my Will? What's the point of having an agent?"
To find you work
on your behalf, right? So 2 years in advance, the agent would have said, "What's going to happen with this contract?" That's why you have an agent.
Could it?
Okay.
Yeah, but you.
I've just answered your question.
Still, I'll use your point again. I'll use your point.
Your question.
You're saying that they Tottenham let him out of his contract because he already had a deal somewhere else. That's not true.
That's not what I said. That's what you said.
That's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. No, it's not.
I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm saying he didn't have a deal and we cut his contract.
No. What I'm saying, I'll repeat it then. What I'm saying is this: the agent in advance would have contacted the club, Spurs, and said, this is what my client, Aurier, wants. What do you want? Because his contract is coming to an end in the next year or two. At that point, the club would have said, this is what we're thinking. And then the agent would have gone back to the client, Aurier, and said, right, I've told them what you want. This is what they want. You want to maybe stay. They don't want to keep you. Or maybe you want out and they're happy for that. At that point, they would have come to an agreement to mutually get out of the contract. When the agent knew that Aurier was no longer going to start staying at Spurs, which would have been before the date they agreed to cancel the contract or get out of it, he would have already made phone calls to other clubs to look at what is available for him after Spurs. That's why you have an agent.
Of course. Who would
So you
deny
agreed
that?
with me.
No,
So you
I'm
agreed
not.
with me.
I'm saying we canceled
I
his
said, of course.
contract because we wanted to get rid of him. That's why we canceled it. Right? We paid off his entire rest of his contract. We paid it off so that he could be gone.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't pay it all off.
Yes, we did.
We didn't. No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. We
It
came
was-
to a
it was-
mutual agreement.
We did.
It was mutual termination, to be fair.
terminated. You
Exactly.
still have to
Thank
pay
you,
the
Perchy.
wages.
Mutual termination. You're making
There's
stuff
a
up.
different. Well, hang on.
You're
There's a
making stuff
difference.
up.
You
There's
still
a
have to pay
difference.
the wages.
You're making stuff up. No, you don't.
still-
You're
yes,
making
you
stuff
do.
up to win an argument.
you
It was a
do.
mutual. No, it
I'm
doesn't.
gonna
have
sit.
to
I'm
pay
gonna
the
one
wages.
second. So I'm gonna sit on the fence with this one
A
because
mutual agreement is not
Yeah.
what Will just said. A mutual agreement means, right, we will pay you maybe 3 months.
both parties agree it.
Exactly. So
No.
what they've done is they found a way for Aurier to get out of the club, get some money, and for Villarreal not to have to pay a transfer fee.
stop.
This
Stelios,
was all
stop.
planned with the
Stelios,
agents
stop.
in the club.
Stelios,
Why-
Stelios,
I don't wanna hear it,
hold on,
man.
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a
Why
second. Hold on for a
I
second,
would
please.
say I don't think that the suitor of the club on the other end is there going ready. What the agent's gone and done is if I can get him out of his contract, I can find him work easier. I think we're playing a little bit of semantics here, and it's about in a sense, I think you're actually writing certain aspects together with what you're saying, but I think it's more semantics.
Hold on,
with
no,
Sergio.
hold on. Tottenham
Perchy,
cannot cancel
you don't
any-
think
hold on,
Aurier's
stop for a
agent
second.
had
Hold
made
on,
phone
stop for a
calls to
second.
other
Of
clubs to
course
see
he
who
made
might
I
phone
don't
want
think he would. I
calls.
think he would have been
He's
on the.
trying to find
He would have been
work.
on the phone getting on them. Yeah,
Exactly.
getting to. He would have been going to clubs, not the clubs
Stelios.
going to him.
That's
We
what I
can
said.
We
The
can
agent is
never
doing it.
turn him, Stelios. Apart from mutual consent, we can never terminate a contract. Never. Never.
I'm the
If
one
a
who said
player-
mutual consent, Will. I agree. I said that.
Stelios, all
Yes.
contract terminations happen. If we terminate Lloris's contract, if we terminate Paris's contract, if we terminate Dyer's contract, it all happens from mutual consent. A contract can only be canceled by mutual consent. Tottenham Hotspur cannot cancel a player's contract without their consent. Otherwise, it's
No,
not
you
a
can.
contract.
Of course you
can't.
can.
No, you
You
cannot.
can. 'Cause you can. You can.
cannot.
But what you have to. No. You can. You can
No, you
buy
cannot.
out. No. Hang on, Will. No. That's wrong because you can buy out a contract.
That's mutually.
You can. Huh?
You're doing that with mutual consent. If the player consents
Not
to
all the
having
time.
their contract
Not-
burn off,
You can
hold on.
say Spurs.
If they-
Spurs have.
no,
Then
just hold
what's the? So hang on. But then why do? It's terminology here. When we see Tottenham have terminated the contract of insert player,
that means they
is
paid it off.
is different to Spurs have mutually agreed to
There's no difference.
terminate.
There's no difference.
There's a massive
terminate a
difference. I
contract.
don't agree with that. There is a difference on that.
There is no
one.
difference. There is no difference. There is literally no practical difference whatsoever. In order for a contract to be terminated, both mutual parties must agree, unless it's done for negligence, right? Or they've brought some kind of disrepute upon the country, the company or the club. There's no reason by which a club can terminate a player's contract before the term is over, unless they have paid out his wages. And then if that happens, if they say to him and say, look, we're not playing you like they did with Danny Rose, right? Danny Rose didn't allow them to terminate his contract. He sat in the U23s.
So-
They cannot terminate any contract without mutual consent, period.
Why? Of course
That's
you
the
can.
law.
It's not.
It
If
is.
sorry, hang on. That's not fair. Because if I'm at work and if they say to me, we're making you redundant, we're paying out your contract, we'll pay you a settlement fee. I can't. If I sit there and say, no, you don't, you can't. They go, no. We're paying you this fee, and you're out of it. So of course they
It's
can.
not a sports contract. Your contract is not a sports
What's the
contract.
difference? It's still
It's
contract.
contract law. I'm telling you. Look it up.
So like for example, if they say
still
to
have
me,
pay you off.
of course they have to pay me out, but it's not agreed. It's a figure terminate. It is a figure that's given to me. It's not. I haven't got to sit there and agree. It's no, you're being made redundant and you're getting paid this amount of money. Goodbye, because that's the termination of your contract plus X, Y, and Z. Boom, boom, boom. Goodbye. Right?
Right. But sports contracts are completely different games. Right? They have lawyers. Did you have a lawyer set up your contract with your employer before they gave it to you?
Not a lawyer, no.
Yeah, exactly. So you signed a contract that didn't have your best representation.
Well, yeah, no, I get.
Right?
Listen, I wasn't sort of getting into the depths of it all, but look, I think it's a bit of both, right? Listen, I think someone made a good point. Let's get back to football chat. I mean,
by the way,
I think
in the UK, the law supersedes any sports rules.
Yeah,
and you
that's what I was
can
gonna
cancel a player's contract
Yeah.
without mutual consent, but
Happens
you
all
have
the
to
time.
pay. But you must pay the full duration of the contracting wages
on the spot as well.
Yes,
you pay it off on the
you
spot.
can do
Yeah.
it. No club would do it because it's financial suicide.
Yeah, especially for a football player specifically. Yeah, because if you did it, you'd be paying them off all in one go. Job done. But look, this all kind of stemmed from me asking about transfers, and let's sort of delve into transfers and stuff a little bit more. That's where we're kind of going. We kind of went a little bit sideways.
Perchy, to answer your question, I don't think Daniel Levy will cancel any contracts, mutual consent, termination, any word you want to use, unless the player has a club to go to and it's something sorted out, whether it's on as a free agent or for sale. I don't see him doing that. I don't think Daniel Levy's the kind of guy that's going to give you 6 months worth of wages for no reason. I don't. Just to free you off the books when he can wait 5 or 6 months. I think he'll wait.
But what if though? What if though we pull them off the registration, but they're still sat around, and we tell them?
I'm just going to say this one time. So according to FIFA and their laws on player contracts, the FIFA regulations will precede any local laws and or regulations. So Tottenham can do it by British law, but they would lose their FIFA certification, and so they can't.
But Spurs aren't governed by FIFA.
Yes, they are.
Spurs are governed by the FA and UEFA when they're in Europe.
Yeah, and
they're not governed by FIFA, huh?
Who's over UEFA?
But
FIFA.
FIFA don't govern the football club. FIFA govern UEFA.
Right, so then they wouldn't be able to play in the Champions League. You think they're going to risk that?
I don't.
No, dude. At worst, FIFA will fine the club. They're not going to suspend them from the Champions League.
I think we're playing well into semantics here, and look, it is what it is, right?
Read the rules before you say things.
I haven't sat there and read all that.
It's called mutual consent for a reason, because there's other methods. Otherwise, they wouldn't use the word mutual consent. They use mutual consent because there's other ways. It's not. It's not. It's mutual consent versus non-mutual consent. That's why it's called mutual consent.
If they're not leaving on bad terms.
We can argue this all day long. For me, my opinion, just my view on this is the reason Aurier was allowed to get out of the contract was because other things were already lined up and it was just a matter of process and time, and it all planned out. There's no way I think Spurs or the agent of Aurier or Aurier would have agreed to him just foregoing a year's worth of salary because he had 1 year left on his contract without him having something set up. And he probably wanted to carry on playing football as well. So I think Aurier would have said to his agent, look, get me out of this contract, give me a bit of money from it and have me something lined up, and I'll go into that job. I keep playing football, I get salary from the new job, and Spurs give me a bit of compensation. And I think that's how it panned out. Spurs said, you know what? That suits us because we don't have to pay you for a whole year. Done.
I think, look, let's start. My theory will always be is I think we will either we are going to unregister 3 players and we're going to sign 3 players in January. That's all this all came from. But I think that's what we're going to be. Whether we get rid of the likes of Lloris, Perisic, and Dyer, whether we get rid of them or they just sit around and they're not registered. I have a funny feeling that they'll be gone in some way or the other. Right? I think that's just my theory. People might call me delusional or crazy that I think that, but look, can we get 3 players in? That's going to be the key one, and it's got to be quality, right? if we're going to talk transfers for a little bit, then we'll go on to Forest back tomorrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm back.
Quiet.
I'm
Well,
back.
no, I was going to say. The question was: who do we? What level of quality are we going to be signing if we do sign players? Centre half, midfielder, striker. Doesn't really matter what you want, but where do you see the players coming in from?
Well, we've got to fight. We're not going to find like for like replacements, but we need replacements that are more than capable of doing the job for us. So, look, I prefer to have, if I'm getting someone in the January window, I prefer to have someone come in with a bit of experience playing in the Premier League. But you know, we're always going to get the cheaper options from abroad. I just hope that there's some sort of happy medium in there, because I know we'll be looking at Adebayo. We'll be looking at Gahey. Any one of those two, I'd be happy with, to be honest with you. I don't know too much about Kelly. Kelly, I think he has an injury at the moment. So I haven't seen too much of Kelly to be able to say, yeah, he's good for us or he isn't. But certainly I'd take the likes of Gahey at Tottenham as a replacement or cover for what we have now. But yeah, for me, I mean, what do you mean with your question, Perchy? Where they're going to come from? Are you talking about
in the sense
what
of
league are they going to come from?
At what level are we signing at? Are we going in and we're buying a player on with 6 months left on a contract, or are we going to go, as you say, get in and be a bit more ambitious and get in a Mark Gahey, or I'm just spitballing an Elise kind of, I'm not saying those specific players. I'm just thinking of players that may be a bit of a tougher sign to get in, or are we going to go, as you say, sort of a cheaper option, cover player, which I think we need to be looking for quality than maybe necessarily just getting any old player in, right?
Well, for me, I personally think, and I said this before, I think we're gonna get some loan signings in, and then we're gonna look to do our major business in the summer. That's what I think. The loan signings will then cover the players that are off for AFCON or the ones who are injured or suspended. But I predominantly think it's going to be loan signings for the midfield, and we will bring in a defender of some sort on a permanent deal, maybe as cover, because we need 3 defenders. We need 3.
Yeah, no. My question is going to be then: what are the 3? Let's just say we signed 3. What 3 players are we signing, and who?
Well, I think we need a centre back, which is 100% certain. The fact that Bentancur's now injured as well. Mm-hmm. Maddison's injured. I know we've got Kulusevski there as well, but I think we need cover up top and in that 8 or 10 role. I think so. Those are the 3 players that I'd bring in. I think we're covered out on the wings. We've got the likes of Brennan Johnson, Son at the moment. So, yeah, I think those are the 3 main areas that we need to address.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I'll quickly rattle on to Will quickly, because I just want to slightly move on from it. But look, let's just say from the sort of hypothetical that we signed 3 players, I think Has makes a good point. I think it's all about getting the right players in. Look, if you were in charge right now, who would you go and get in right now?
Get Rafinha in on loan or an option. And then I would bring in Kone from Mönchengladbach.
He's a good player. I like him, yeah.
And I'd bring in some defender. Whoever we can find that's decent.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you bring in a midfielder? Because apparently Lo Celso's injured as well now.
Mönchengladbach, Kone.
Yeah, Kone's centre midfielder, isn't he?
Oh, you said okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know too much about Kone, so apologies.
He's a good player, Kone.
Baby bissouma.
Look, listen up. Look, Will, I agree. I think they're the sort of positions. I'll go to Stel in a second, and I think it will be either Tosin or Kelly. I think it'll be one of those 2. I think it'll be Jota on loan and a centre midfielder from somewhere. I would like a Conor Gallagher. I'd be amazed if we signed someone like that, though. I don't doubt it will ever happen. just someone for me in the middle that would be just energy in midfield. I'm not actually sure which player it is, but for me, high energy in midfield. Look, Stel, I'll come to you and then we'll kind of rattle on to the Forest game.
You're asking me who we should sign?
Yeah, go on. 3 players. Let's just say hypothetically it'll be 3 players from the sort of hypothetical we started with.
All right, so Will and I actually had this chat on TJ Warren's show before this tonight, and for me, I want a centre back. I don't know who, by the way. My knowledge of global centre backs isn't great, but someone of the levels of Van der Ven. It has to be that level. Otherwise, we're not building. We're just plugging gaps with average players. Might as well just play Ben Davies.
Yeah.
But in terms of attacking midfield, striker type players, any 2, 3 following 4: Rafinha, Jota, Jimenez, and Gift Orban. If we get 2 of those 4 or 3, I mean, I'd be super happy. I think they're all good enough. I think they're all capable in an Ange team. They would all excite me. I'm sure we can discuss and debate which are better players, who suits the system better. But if we got 2 of those 4, I'd be happy. 3 would be brilliant.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. And for me, like I think that Noose is a good lad. I like him. I saw a little bit of him for Bruges, and I like the look of him. But someone. Do you know what I want? Just someone that I can go. Okay, I can get behind this lad. Like, it doesn't have to be the sort of household name, but someone I can go, do you know what? I like what we're going there with that, in a sense. But look, let's sort of rattle on, because we've gone for an hour and a half. And I think you're going live still in about 20 minutes, so we'll make sure we finish at about 10 o'clock.
That's all right. That's all right, mate. That's all right.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because then we've got the redirect going over to you guys anyway. So look, let's slightly quickly move on to, firstly, team selection for Forest. I've got team selection and then the prediction for Forest, which we'll finalise on. But look, Forest now has made a good point that Lo Celso's now out injured. Where is our midfield going to pick itself? And not just its midfield, the team pick itself. And it's going to be the same team that beat Newcastle. I'll start with you. For me, I think don't change what's not broken and stick with the same team. I think everyone's fit that started that game. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, for me, I always said it before, consistency is key. Okay, we need to be consistent. We need to keep the same momentum going. Those same group of players need to start and carry on with that same momentum. So I think tweaking it around, I think will be to the detriment of the team. I don't think Ange is going to do that. I think Ange finally has some sort of solution to the injury crisis, if you want to call it a crisis. So I think he's going to stick with that. And I think it's important to do that. We saw against Newcastle, we just won the ball time after time after time. And I think if you keep tweaking it around, it's just going to upset the balance of the team. Lo Celso being out, okay, he's out, but we've got adequate cover there at the moment. We know Bissouma and Sarr's going to start. It's just a question of who he starts in that sort of 8 or 10 role. So I think Kulusevski is going to start in the middle of that trio, with Brennan Johnson on the right, Son on the left, and sorry, I can hear a lot of tapping in the background.
Oh, sorry, that's probably me. Sorry, apologies.
Yeah, and then with Richarlison up top, and I think that's key, to be honest. Like I said, just consistency. Keep it consistent. Don't chop and change all the time, and we'll be okay. But I think with Richarlison sort of coming into form in the last game, confidence will be high. Kulusevski had a fantastic look. All of them had a fantastic game last game. If they don't go into this Nottingham Forest game tomorrow full of confidence and scoring 2-3 goals tomorrow, I'd be very surprised, because what we did against Newcastle, we have to build on that. Otherwise, like we said against Manchester City, when we got the draw, it means nothing if you then lose at home to West Ham. It means nothing now if we go and lose to Nottingham Forest that we beat Newcastle 4-1. means nothing.
Agreed.
We need to build on it.
No, Hans, you make a good point. I said this. That's kind of it's now on to the next game. By the way, Forest have won 1 in 12 or something stupid. I expect us to be beating them.
They're woeful at the moment.
They especially without a Winnie, they can't score goals either. Look, Will, I'll come to you. Team selection. I think for me, as I said, I don't want to see any changes. I think the balance was really, really good against. The balance was spot on against Newcastle. It's got to be the same again, though. Or would you tweak it in any way?
No, I mean it's got to be the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else, right?
Yeah. I mean that's a great point, actually. Yeah, there's no room really else that we can put in there, right? Yeah. Stel, same with you.
What do I think about the result?
No, as in the starting lineup. Would you go exactly the same that we did against Newcastle, or would you tweak someone in?
No, I'd keep it the same.
Yeah.
Never. I'm a firm believer. Never change a winning formula. We played really well. Richarlison as well might have found a bit of confidence. Let's not take away his confidence if he's getting any. Son had a really good game out wide left. Let him have another good game there. I thought, everyone just looked good in those positions. Just keep them there. Keep Kulu in the 10. Keep Brennan Johnson out right. I'm sure Brennan Johnson will be really excited to be playing his old team and wanting to prove a point. Defensively, Dogie, Porro, Ben Davies, Romero, that's the best we've got. So just keep it exactly like that. And if we go 3-0 up and there's 20 minutes to go, you can bring on the Brian Hills, the Villiers, the Dorringtons. You can bring on some other players and give them a run.
Yeah, give some lads a go. Give some lads some legs.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit worried that we're not going to batter them because we're supposed to, right? Because we're supposed to batter them.
I see your point.
It's what Spurs do. I mean, I'm sure we'll dominate all the stats. I just think we're going to win it by 1 or maybe just 2 goals. I hope it's another Burnley 5-2, 5-1, whatever. I hope it is. Just got a feeling it's going to be. They're just going to low block us.
They'll look shot. They need the points. Even a point would do for them. That's the thing.
Of course, yeah.
We don't know what to do in a low block.
We don't. But the thing that we do in a low block is keep possession and a lot of it. Now, without the likes of Maddison, this is the key thing here, because Kulusevski likes to pick up the ball and run. That's what he will do, playing in the middle. He's done that against Newcastle, running down the middle, playing a good through ball in or whatever. But against the low block of Nottingham Forest, without Maddison or, creator in chief, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be. So I do agree with you. It could be a close 1-0 or, ball draw. Who knows? It's going to be hard, though. I guess the only good thing is if we can get some proper crosses into the box, Richarlison is good in the air. He's not a bad player to have. I think. Do you know what? I think it's just I will go with predictions now. We'll go whilst we're sort of going there. I think we're going to win 3-0. I think. Do you know what? I would sacrifice a massive win to get a clean sheet. I think the one thing we're missing at the moment, which we haven't felt like we haven't had one for ages, was a clean sheet. So I would, if we won 2-0, I'd take a 2-0 if it meant we got a clean sheet. You could go and win 6-2 and go, oh, what an amazing game. But I think for me at the moment, with us not getting clean sheets, it does worry me, right? Because there are going to be games of football where we aren't going to score everything, but we need to start batting up Perchy behind, no?
But Perchy, a 6-2 is better for our goal difference than a 2-0.
I know, I get it in that theory, yeah. But I just think at the moment, for us at the moment, we don't keep any clean sheets. I think we've kept 2 this season or 3? Am I right? Is it? Someone might know that. I think it's 2 or 3. I think it was Luton, Fulham, Man United. Can you think of any others?
Burnley scored against us. Sorry,
Burnley scored 2.
Man United scored against us.
Yeah, no, Man United did. We won 2-0.
Everton,
you're right. It was 2-0. Yeah.
We haven't played Everton yet, have we?
We got them after next.
Yeah, we've got next. I'm going to the game. We've got next.
Sorry, we've got Brighton.
I'm literally going to that game.
Yeah.
Look, I think if we can get a good 3-0, I agree with you. It's better for the goal difference, blah, blah, blah. I just think at the moment, it'll be nice to see us batten up the hatches a little bit and get a bit of a clean sheet. Look, I'll come to you then, Stel. Give me a score prediction.
2-1 Spurs.
Has?
I'm going to go with 2-0. 2-0 Spurs.
Will?
Same. 2-0.
2-0. So I'm the super toxic positive by saying 3-0. I'll take that one today. Normally I'm Mr. Negative. No, listen. I think if we stick it out for me, and play, as I said, Johnson has to play on the right. I thought that was his best game against Newcastle. I thought him out on that right hand side was brilliant. Kulu down the middle. I've been screaming for it. I got it, and now I'm seeing the fruits of him down the middle. Better on the ball, technically better on the ball. Son playing on the left when he's been given the role to attack on that left-hand side looks a lot better. He causes so many problems. My only thing is Richarlison. Now, everyone sort of jumped to me and went, oh, well, he scored 2. Get off his back. Okay, cool. But it's great scoring a couple of goals, but he needs to do it consistently, right?
Yeah, for me, he needs to be scoring regularly now. So I'm expecting him to score at least 1 in 2 or 1 every other game. And also the other thing I'm expecting to see and I'm hoping to see is that relationship between him and Son flourishing even more, because if they can start connecting and we're seeing Son beating his man on the byline, getting a cross in, getting a ball in, Richarlison, you saw, he can get on the end of those balls. So for me, that's another relationship I think that needs to flourish. Brennan Johnson will chip in here and there, but Son, for me, with Maddison out, I think he's our sort of creative outlet now, in a different sort of way. They're very different players, Maddison and Son, but Son has to be that sort of creative outlet now. So I think for me, the perfect game tomorrow for me would be Richarlison getting on the score sheet and a clean sheet.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought my Christmas tree just fell off its stand. I just sort of heard a massive jolt. I didn't know what it was. But no, listen, exactly. No, I think look, this could be the move for me where we now can go and get 3 or 4 wins back to back now. You go and beat Forest, you go and beat Everton, beat Brighton, and you start going, do you know what? That patch where we lost those games can alleviate themselves by getting 3 or 4 wins on the bounce now. And I can see us doing it. I think if we can keep playing this way, players are just going to come back. Guys, any last words?
No, other than like 2 hours ago, apparently it was reported that Pierre-Emile Højbjerg wants to leave Tottenham Hotspur next month. Rather than
reported where?
La Stampa.
Okay.
The what?
I've not heard of him, but yeah.
I mean, I think Højbjerg is going to be one of those, if we can get rid of, I think we will. But I think you only get rid of him if you replace him, right? I think it would be, we can't lose another midfielder without replacing.
It says Ange may block a potential move in January.
Yeah, I think that'll be down to if we sign one, right?
Yeah.
See, this is a problem. If he wants to leave, he doesn't want to be at Spurs. That means he's disengaged from what we're doing. As a manager, as a club, if you then say, no, we're not going to let you leave, you're now forcing a player to be at a club he doesn't want to be at. How do you get a performance out of that player the same way you get a performance out of the players that want to be there? See, as soon as a player wants...
If you can't, then you block it, right? Sweet.
If it will, would you block a player that doesn't want to be at Spurs?
I mean, if you can't get a replacement...
But then
we'd have to be in a crisis, I think. We'd have to be in a crisis for him to turn around and say, oh, by the way, Pierre, we're not going to let you go because we've got...
if we've got 4 injuries at centre mid and I get your point.
We'd have to be at a crisis point to then say to him, I'm blocking you from leaving, because as much as you don't want to be here and your heart's not in it, we've got no other options. Now, what does he do in that situation? Does he bring a youngster in who's hungry and willing to take his opportunity? Or does he say, thank you very much, Pierre, but, we'll allow you to go. We'll just bring
Mate,
in a player.
I've learned over the years, if someone doesn't want to be your wingman, get them out. If they don't
I
want
agree.
to be
I
there,
agree with you.
I
Stel.
agree. I agree.
I think he's awful, by the way. I think he's awful anyway. But
the way
But
we
when you
play
have
football,
no options, though, Stel, when you have no options, yeah, and when you're stuck in a rut and you're really down to the bare bones and the bare minimums, you have to do what you got to do. So if
Yeah,
that
but
means
do
taking on a player who doesn't want to be there, his heart's not in it, because you've got no other option, that's what you do. What's your other option then?
But Has, do you want to go into a fight with someone that doesn't want to have your back?
Yeah, but what would you do in that situation? All right, let's say our midfield was decimated, right? We've got no other senior midfielders apart from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, all right? And he wants to leave, his heart's not in it, but you've got no other options. Do you then say, your heart's not in it, mate? Go.
What I would do is I would play Kulu in the 10, Lo Celso behind Kulu, and I would play a youngster if we have to. Or
So you
I
play
would
the youngster.
Or listen, we're talking about doomsday scenario now. I would play a Chicken Royale or someone else in that holding mid role. Anything but a player that does it. Because at least, listen, as much as I can't stand Chicken Royale, at least he wants to be at Spurs.
Yeah, no, Stel, I actually get your point here. I
don't think Chicken Royale will work, by the way. I'm not just saying, but there's
I know. I do get what I do get your philosophy
Dyer,
of what you're saying.
Even Eric Dyer, who stinks, I would play him in the defensive mid role. At least he's played that position before.
I think.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, we don't know. We're
I don't think Eric Dyer wants to be there at all. I think his body language in the PR stuff is rubbish. Like, do you know what I mean? You know when they do the walk into the stadium and stuff like, and everyone's all they obviously know that person's there recording, and they're up big going,
but we're going by the news feed about Højbjerg. Dyer hasn't come out.
I think the Højbjerg one. I think the bigger question is has he got suitors? And if he's got suitors, how much are they going to pay for him? Because if we loan him out, that's pointless in a sense. I think the only way you get rid of him is you have to sell him, right?
Yeah, but we paid £3 million for him. I mean, if we get 5-8 million...
No, I'm not on about the fee. I don't care about the fee. The fee could be anything in the sense, actually, for him. But I think the theory for me...
Anyone in the bottom 10 of the Premier League, Højbjerg will do a job.
But would he want to go to those? I think he looks at it... He turned down to go to Fulham. He wants to go to like an Atletico Madrid, Juventus team.
Right.
He doesn't want to go to a Fulham.
They can pay 30 million for him. Fine.
They'll have to, right?
Listen, time will tell. Time will tell. Let's see what
time will tell. Listen, I think we all know collectively as content creators, January is going to be a crazy ride, right? We're going to have transfers in and outs that are going to be flying through, and I think Spurs will be active. I think it depends how active we will be on how many go in and how many go out. I think that's going to be the key bit. Look,
says we're willing to let Lo Celso go, but only if we receive an offer for a permanent deal. Like we're not going to let him go on loan.
Yeah, I think that makes
too many loans.
No, but I think that makes sense, right? Because I think Lo Celso short term has a future, long term he doesn't, right? I think that's fair. And if you let him go out on loan, what you're doing, it doesn't really benefit Tottenham, right? It doesn't benefit Tottenham letting him go out on loan. But if you get 25 million quid for him, it benefits us because it could allow us to go and bring in a centre midfielder or a centre half, or it'll help bolster us getting in players coming in. So it makes sense. I think Højbjerg will be in that bubble as well, right? I think he's surplus to requirements if we can get a transfer fee. It doesn't benefit Tottenham loaning him out for 6 months. Right, I think that's where we're going to be. It's all about getting money for these players, and I think Has made a good point. We can't keep loaning players out and keep pushing players to the other end of the kicking the can down the road is the analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got to cut our losses at some point, I suppose.
Listen, if this club's serious, they will know what players want out. They will know where there's going to be gaps, and they will have the transfers lined up now, ready to sort out. So as soon as the 1st of January comes, bang, 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 off we go. And within a week, 2 weeks max, it's done. If we find ourselves in this whole Spurs are monitoring, Spurs are observing, Spurs are looking into, Spurs are linked to. Listen, this is you know, we're back to the failures of every other manager.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a rocky ride. And look, let's wrap it up because I know you're going live in literally 5 minutes, Stel, so I'll let you run off and do that.
No,
it's absolutely fine. Look, I just want to say thank you very much. I actually really enjoyed that one.
Starting the show, so we show up.
Oh, fair enough. No, but at least it gets people over there. You can watch Tottenham Away, all getting redirected over there. I'll say thank you guys. I really enjoyed that one. That was cool. I hope we beat Forest. I expect us to be beating them. On that note, guys, come on, you Spurs, and we'll be here again this time next week. Hopefully with some transfer rumours that are going to start swaying up all the way up until Christmas. Thank you for everyone in the chat that's watched. Make sure you smash the like on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're about 53 away from 12k. Yeah, we're 53 away from 12k. So please kindly subscribe if you haven't. That would be amazing. Thank you very much, and see ya later once I know where the thing is. See you later, guys. Peace out.